Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make this unfolding animation in Cinema 4D. I did this with a texture of a treasure map I got from freepik.com. So let's get started. First of all, we want to create a plane and make these segments higher. I did this with 100 segments each, and then I put a bend modifier on it. So if you go ahead now and play with the strength, you can see that this is happening, and this is obviously wrong, because the bend modifier is always in the wrong axis when you edit. So I'm going to rotate it to 90 degrees, click on Fit to Parent, and if I upper the strength now, you can see that we get a very nice curvature of the plane. We can even upper the strength to, let's say, 1000. And right now all the polygons are intersecting each other. We have to avoid that by going to the bend modifier coordinates and just upper it by 1 degree on the banking. And now we get this spiral, this folding look. And if I move the bend modifier, you can see that we get a very nice unfolding animation. So let's get to the texturing part. I already put in an HDRI to light the scene, and I also put on a material onto the plane, a Octane universal material. I lowered the strength of the metallic, we don't want any metallic, and I imported an image I downloaded from freepik.com. And if I connect that to the albedo slot, we get this. So we get these black corners, or these black outlines around the map, and we don't want that, but luckily it's a PNG with an alpha channel, so I just duplicate the image texture, put it to alpha and connect it to the opacity slot of the material. And now you can see that all of the black is gone. Now I want it to look a little bit more like paper, so there is a nice plugin for Cinema 4D if you're using polygon materials. It's the Polygon Material Converter, and I import a paper crumbled material. And I just copy the normal and the reflection and the glossy map from this texture and paste it into my treasure map material. Let's make some room here. Just paste them in, and now I'm going to connect the nodes to the specular and to the roughness and the normal map, of course, to the normal. And now you can see that there's definitely something happening. There's also a displacement texture. It's connected right now with a bitmap node. I'm gonna switch it out to a regular image texture node. Just copy the path of the image texture and connect the displacement to the displacement slot. The reason I did this is because I want to scale the image texture, the displacement image texture. Now, if I upper the displacement, you can see that we get some very nice displacement. This is one of the strengths of Octane, I think, the real fast displacement. So now I'm just playing around with the roughness to make it look good. So if I solo the normal map, we can see that it is a little bit stretched, or maybe this is how the original texture looks, but I want to be able to resize it, so I create a transform and a texture projection node and connect it to the other slots as well. And now if I go to the transform, disable lock aspect ratio and just lower the Y to, let's say, 0.5. Yeah, this is better. Okay, that's basically it. What we can do now is we can create a background. I'm just creating a plane, upper the size, and import another material I got from Polygon, something like a wood material. And put it onto the plane. You can go ahead and lower the size by upping the tiles of the texture. This is looking good now. And I'm going to enable the bend modifier, and I'm going to animate it now by control clicking on the first frame go to frame 20, let's say, and pull it out. And control click again. What I also did for the final rendering is I inserted a dagger that is flying onto the map. Just put that in. And it is controlled with two nulls. As you can see, here are the two elements of the dagger. And both of them are parented to this null. And this null has two keyframes, which give the dagger a rotation. And the other null is for the direction of the dagger. It's sitting at the tip of the dagger, so it's just for the direction. Also, there is a vibrate tag on it. And it's also keyframed. When it hits the map, you can see that the amplitude starts and it slowly fades out. So it gives this nice wiggle for the dagger. So in my original rendering I used another HDRI, which I imported. And what I did there is I also added some fog. As you can see here in the medium tab. So I'm gonna clear this and add an additional fog. I also played with the power. When you add some fog, you need more strength for your environment. So I added a fog. Now everything turned dark. This is because the density is too strong. But first we have to add an RGB spectrum to the absorption, put it to white. As well as for the scattering, put the RGB spectrum to white, and then we're gonna lower the density. And at a certain point, you can see that there's something happening. And what you can do now is play with the phase. The phase defines where the scattering is happening. Is it towards the camera or towards the light source? If I put it to right, you can see that it gets scattered more towards the light source. Yeah, and this is what I want. So I exported the whole sequence to After Effects, re-imported it, and did some color adjustments with it. Also added a motion blur to the treasure map. You could do this in Octane. It would look better, but for this tutorial I did it in After Effects because it's faster. I also added a fog with an unmulled effect from Red Giant. If I just go ahead and upper the opacity, I'm on a German version of After Effects, don't get confused if you're not speaking German. So if I add an unmulled, it just removes the blacks. So now I can play with the opacity. And I also did an adjustment layer on top of it with a Lumetri color correction on it. Did some curves and some changes to the lighting, and I did a vignette as well. So that's basically it. I hope you found this useful. If so, please give me a like or follow me or leave me a comment. See you next time. Bye.